Oh, are you sure about this?
I look like Magneto.
I'm sure. But the facial hair's got to go. Sorry.
Why? I spent all summer growing this. Please.
I don't know, I think we were quite lucky with how quickly we all kind of clicked as a team. And I think because of the content of the show, you really want people who can trust each other and kind of bring the best out of these scenes and out of these moments. So to have a group of people who do just get on and really believe in what these writers have done is really special. And it makes those kind of potentially more awkward scenes actually just like a lot of fun to do, because you can really push them a bit further and try and find something there beyond the awkwardness that's can be really natural and really funny and spontaneous.
I think was probably the way that I got to unfold Ruby this season, you know, and open her up through doing those scenes with Asa, because, you know, Ruby being in a relationship, it sort of forces her to open herself up to one person and also to think about someone else as well as thinking about herself, because that's what she usually does. So and then I think that's what leads her to start becoming more of a team player in the school and thinking of others, like she has been with Otis. So for me, that's been really something to get my teeth into. And as an actor, that's been quite challenging, keeping both levels of her there and balancing them out. So it's been great.
You got to kind of not think about the bigger picture, I think, when you're working, because then you just then it becomes too much. You just have to focus on what you're doing day to day and trying to do your best job in that scene or in that take, whatever it is, because so much goes on afterwards. And from that moment to when it comes out, there's such a huge leap. It does feel weirdly disconnected. And as actors, you know, the reason we act is to kind of perform and bring these characters to life. And so that's what I just try and focus on and not think about necessarily trying to do too much, because I feel like that's all in the writing. If we do our bit and the writing's good and they kind of approach it the right way, then it will be a success.
I agree with Asa. I think it's not as much our mission that making the message. I think just our job is to, I feel, just make sure that we do the script proud and the writing proud and do it justice, and hopefully get that message across that the writers have made for us to do. So we're kind of like the messenger of the message that's been written by obviously that team.
I think you just have to, I mean, I've been doing this a while, so I'm quite good at kind of dealing with, I suppose, attention and sort of eyes on being in the public eye. But you just can't let it take over your head, I suppose. Because especially with social media, it's so easy to get caught up in what people are saying or how people write pictures and memes and commentary and links. And as amazing as that is, it can get overwhelming if you kind of read too much into it. So I try and kind of just not engage too much with it, and keep a bit of a distance, I suppose.
Hey, I forgot to tell you, I saw Maeve the other day.
Why are you telling me about Maeve?
I thought you might want to know.
She hasn't responded to my message. She's made it abundantly clear she doesn't want me in her life. So, no, I don't need to know what Maeve is doing anymore.
I felt like it was really significant and really significant for Eric's development, because in order for him to develop, he needs to embrace all aspects of himself and be able to confront ugly truths about the world. I think Eric is someone that he paints everything externally really, really brightly. Like he sees the best in people, he sees the best in the world, and I think he puts a lot of attention outwardly. And I think when he goes to Nigeria, he has to be confronted with like the ugliness of of the world, and learn how to like embrace all of that. And I think when he's there, you know, he has to learn how to amalgamate his religion and his culture and his race. And actually what ends up happening there is he feels really seen, and he sees that he meets someone that's able to kind of like help him on that journey. And then he is able to return back to Moordale, being able to be like, no, all this brightness that I put out into the world, I actually want to put into me, and I want to grow, and I want to be happy. And I think he's prioritized a lot of other people's happiness, and now Nigeria kind of taught him to prioritize his own, which was really obviously quite tricky, because it was a place where he thought he had to legally shut that off, but he learned how to embrace himself fully. So I think it was really, really significant for his development. Yeah.
I think that it's very true to life. I think that, you know, if we lived in kind of, you know, fantasy land, it would be that her getting on the bus with the girls was kind of, that was it, you know, I'm better now, but we don't. And sex education reflects real life, and it's a heightened, beautiful reality, but real life is still in there. And I think actually that bus, her getting on the bus with the girls, was the beginning. And it's going to be a long process of healing and recovering, because trauma, you know, it's a very present thing. It's always present, and it's actually learning how to understand it and not be afraid of it. And I think that she's internalized a lot, and she's started to kind of be afraid of her own body. And there's a kind of disconnect between her and her body. And I think therapy is the thing that kind of connects her back together. And she really wants to be the old her, but she can't get back there. And Jean telling her that that's okay, that she's not the old her, is really kind of her a real step forward in her journey. But I also think that, I think she really needed to understand and truly believe that it wasn't her fault. What happened to her wasn't her fault. And a lot of her journey in season 3 is actually is getting to that, you know, getting to that place. And I think it's really important that it's carried on throughout season 3.
It's so, I think it's really important. And I think that's why it's important to have shows like Sex Education, because we can take it for granted where me and Aimee live, that these kind of, the freedom of speech is so expected here. I think it's really important, because it's really important to like demystify sex, and to take that takes the mystery out of it, and and people are able to educate themselves and keep themselves safe as well, which is the most important thing, I think.